was the GOAT of sci-fi series. And if you dare disagree, into space you'll be beamed. With ship models built like cheap toys, and a French captain with a British voice. Though production quality was quite low, I'll always love this iconic show. Now I'll make you love it too. There's not a thing you can do. Assimilate into the Trekkie cult. Tell them it was export's fault. Resistance is futile at best. Never lost a Trek trivia contest. Get ready for nerd rage. It's Trek Tuesday. Engage.
Applaud, warriors. Today is a good day for boba. I got my favorite boba today. It was delicious. I forgot how good it is because I haven't had it in a while. Black light, too early. No, too early. Black light's on top of it. There is a section on quotes, black light. Anyway, my favorite one, I haven't gotten it in a while. I've gotten like other stuff and I was like, God damn, this is why this is my favorite. It is so good. The best. Recipes, this song's actually not technically new. It's back from last year, or I guess like 18 months ago. No, that's not right. Last year, when I had Star Trek Tuesdays, tier list Tuesdays, but the views were very, very low. It was pretty much just me and Charlemagne, I think. Yeah, switched gears. Sorry, thirsty. All right. Jack Tricks, well, I've been a little bit busy with the whole eating disorder program, so I didn't have time to throw together an outfit as well, but I do have blue for sciences / medical, because that's what I would be if I was in the Star Trek universe. Ah, Consina. Yes, Consina remembers. Yes. Yes, J2X centric. That's the only reason I accept Lower Decks, is because it is essentially, you know, parody satire, and that is why it's okay with me. Anything else after Voyager is unacceptable. Anyway, tonight at the end of stream, Royal Hour preview. So woohoo! That episode finally has come to fruition. And that comes out for members after stream and for everybody else on Friday. And then before we get started, let's review the schedule. Mondays are gaming. Continuing my quest. Oh, sorry, the cat's back. She's been chewing the cords and I thought she was doing it again. Luigi's Mansion, sorry. I've only got like 7 boos out of 50 so far. Then Tuesdays, cozy streams. This past one, we did some Bond Story and some shopping. One before that, we did Bond Story and some hand cam. So TBD. Oh, and some, yeah, that's right, the knitting. So TBD next week, maybe more hand cam, but I'm gonna run out of things to show you guys. Wednesdays, class with Dr. Export. While I'm in the eating disorder program, I am doing just topics I already have knowledge on. So, and then once I resume the regular topics that you guys suggest, we'll resume with the history of medicine / pharmaceuticals. And Thursdays are gaming, continuing Luigi's Mansion tomorrow. And Friday, Nikkei Impressions, canceled last week because of my dog's surgery. But this week, Siren is winning so far. But there's still time if you don't want that. Yeah, Constana, I'm in my 4th week of an intensive eating disorder program. It's a lot of hours a week, 11 hours a week. So that's why I haven't, I finally decided I just didn't have time to do the longer researched Wednesday class topics, and it's kind of taken up a lot of my brain power just dealing with it all. NASD, I don't drink much, but usually if I do, I like a nice sweet Moscato. Usually the more expensive ones are better because they don't have the funky aftertaste. I tried a $10 one once and it was really nasty. Or anything sweet. Oh, yes. For because I have an eating disorder. Good question, Consina. Treatment for me for eating disorder. Oh, Braven got a new phone. Is that what that's supposed to say? Brand new phone? Yeah? All right. And before we get started, or as we start, here's an image, a poorly taken picture. This picture was taken by a man, you can tell, because the angles are all messed up. And this is me as Jadziadax on Ryza. And I wanted to show off how good I did on my spots. I did real good on my spots. I hand-painted these spots. You guys will see later. Those of you who don't know what a trill, keep these in mind, these spots, these masterful spots, and then I'll show you an image too of who I was being. Braven, he wanted to be a boomer. I don't know. So I was very happy with my spots. I was originally going to do my Jadziadax Season 5 uniform cosplay. I have all the materials still. It's a lot of work. I think I probably need help from someone more experienced, so. I pulled this together last minute. Alrighty, switching over to my Star Trek images. A host, so you take away the G. That's funny. Raven, I haven't heard that one. Alright. A tattoo? No, I don't have a tattoo, Nasd. I'm not brave enough to pick anything that I would permanently put on myself. I'm too much difficulty making decisions. Alright. Are you ready? So, Star Trek. The basics. There is the crew. Here we have the crew of the original series. So we have the captain, Captain Kirk. The first officer, Spock, who I believe was also the science officer for this crew. The engineer, Scotty. The doctor, McCoy. The child, there's no child in this one. And they don't have a long-standing security officer, but Chekhov does some security. And then Uhura has communications, but that's not a job that's consistent throughout the series. Oh yeah, Naz, were you seeing my spots that I painted on? Then we have the Next Generation. Captain Picard. First Officer, William Riker. Science Officer, Data. Engineer, Chief Engineer, Geordi LaForge. Dr. Crusher, Chief of Security, Worf. And random woman character, who does not have a long-standing job. There's not really counselors on other shows. Troy. Counselor Troy. Then we have DS9. I know it's a little blurry, but I wanted to use it to show you this picture of the outfit because it's hilarious. So, DS9. Captain Sisko. First Officer Kira Nerys. You can tell she was pregnant here because she's wearing the loose... they tried to hide her pregnancy by suddenly having... Wait, no, they didn't hide her pregnancy. They included it in the series. I'm an idiot. But yeah. Science Officer Jadziadax. Chief of Security Odo. Dr. Bashir. Chief Engineer. Actually, I think he's technically... Chief of... What do they call his position? I think he's technically not... I don't think they call him... Anyway. Miles O'Brien. Sometimes I call him Irish McIrish because he's the Scotty. Then the child, who is Jake, and also Nog. And Worf, who has a random job that's not on other shows either. And I did forget here, Wesley Crusher is not featured here. He is the child of TNG. Then we have the crew of Voyager. We've got Captain Janeway. We've got First Officer Chakotay, who doesn't have a first name or something. We've got Science Officer and Chief of... Chief of Security Tuvok. We've got Doctor, the Doctor. Tom Paris is the pilot, but that's not really a thing in some of the other ones. Harry Kim does some science duties, as does Janeway and Seven of Nine. And then Neelix is just random alien character. And B'Elanna Torres, Chief Engineer. Oh, you can't see the cursor? And the child in this show was Naomi. She's not in a lot of episodes, especially not compared to Wesley and Jake, but she is around. She's, yeah. Yeah, that's such a rip-off recipes. He was indeed forever an ensign. So, I also compiled it by the archetypes that you see in every episode, every series. So, there's the Playboy. That role is served by Riker, by Captain Kirk, by Julian Bashir, and by Tom Paris. Voyager's Playboy right here. There's also the Foreigner, who I came up with these categories myself. So the Foreigner in this one would be Spock, and Worf, and Odo, and Neelix's, as well as B'Elanna, and then later Seven of Nine. They're heavy on it for Voyager. They were trying real hard. There's the other, or like the neurodivergent person who's trying to learn how to be human. That's sort of Spock. It's definitely Data. His name is just Doctor. And then it's Odo, and then Seven of Nine and the Doctor. Then there's also the one that's there, you know, partially for men to look at, which is obviously Uhura, Troy, and mostly Kira Nerys, but they actually were very feminist in this show in a very good way. And then obviously Seven of Nine. She's like a living Barbie doll. And a very good actress, I think. And then the humanitarian is usually the Doctor, where they're like, screw the Prime Directive. Wow, harsh recipes. And then there's the baddies, which vary from show to show. In the original series, Klingons and Romulans were big ones. In The Next Generation, Romulans and Borgs were big ones. In DS9, the Cardassians, especially Gul Dukat. And then in Voyager, it was varied, but I would also argue that the baddie is Janeway, because everything's her fault in the first place. All right. I have more, but I feel like it's boring, so I will move on. Okay, overview of the seasons. Cardassians. Did I say Kardashian? Because I do that a lot. So, the original series from 1966 to 1969. Oh, I'm so jealous, Recipes. I would love to meet her. I love 7 and 9. 1966 to 69, so only 3 seasons, which is much shorter than my other series. Yeah, baddie is a villain. So, to summarize, the original series, aka TOS, Captain Kirk and his crew are on a 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, and to boldly go where no man has gone before. Make note of the use of the word man there. There's a reason for that. The original series takes place in the 23rd century, specifically in the year 2266, aboard the USS Enterprise. So, you can see we got the saucer section and the nacelles and all that. Then, the Next Generation, Star Trek The Next Generation, 1987 to 1994, so 7 seasons, which is big because, so the original series was only 3 seasons, but then it had like a huge cult following. So then TNG had 7 seasons. And this summary of this series is Captain Picard and his crew are on a continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, and to boldly go where no one has gone before. So note the difference there. They changed it from man to one, and it's instead of a 5-year mission, it's a continuing mission. And this takes place about 100 years after the original series in 2364. And it is aboard the USS Enterprise D, which is a Galaxy-class starship. We will discuss this ship more. Then there is Deep Space Nine. I have a really awesome poster I bought that looks kind of like this. I haven't gotten to put it up yet because I still live in an apartment, but I love it so much. All right, DS9. So it was going real good. 1993 to 99. So 7 seasons again. Tasha Yar, she shall remain unfeatured. Belden's Fire. So the series Deep Space Nine was very different from TNG and TOS, and like Gene Roddenberry's vision overall. DS9 very much strayed from that. And then, so this one is because Commander, later Captain, Sisko, is put in charge of Deep Space Nine, which is a crucial space station between Cardassia and Bajor, which are 2 planets, following the end of the 50-year Cardassian occupation of Bajor, as they like to call it. It's a lot harsher than occupation sounds. Commander Sisko's mission is to bring Bajor into the Federation, but in the pilot, Commander Sisko and Jadzia Dax discover a stable wormhole leading to the Gamma Quadrant, which makes Deep Space Nine the most important space station in the Alpha Quadrant. Takes place in 2369, has a brief overlap with Next Generation. Aboard Deep Space Nine, which was also known as Terok Nor when it was controlled by the Cardassians, and also aboard later on the USS Defiant. I agree with USPs, it's my favorite. The US Defiant, which was the Federation's first and only, at the time, true warship. So it was built for the purpose of war battles versus all the other ones. So it's very different. And this show was very different from the others because, like I said, it really strayed from the whole, like, paradise vision of the future of Gene Roddenberry, and it also was minimally episodic compared to the other series, which made it also awesome. Red Squad, Red Squad, Red Squad. Then we have Voyager. 1995 to 2001, also 7 seasons. So all 3 of these shows made it 7 seasons. Captain J... Okay, so this is the premise that pisses me off real significantly. Captain Janeway and her crew are forcibly pulled into the Delta Quadrant, 70,000 light years away from their home in the Alpha Quadrant, by an all-powerful being known as the Caretaker, or a mostly all-powerful. Then, instead of taking her crew home, Captain Janeway violates the Prime Directive and destroys the only means of their immediate return, thereby stranding the crew in the Delta Quadrant for their foreseeable lifetimes, very possibly. She strands them like 80 plus years away from home. So, pisses me off something fierce. Takes place in 2371, briefly overlaps with DS9, and there's a crossover in the first episode. And it's aboard the USS Voyager, which is an Intrepid-class starship built for long-range exploration, which is convenient, and scientific missions. It's got bioneural gel packs. They talk about that a lot. Overall, this is probably the best, most practical ship of them, which we will discuss why. Okay, so this is a cool website I found that has all these details on the ships. And here's the issue with the USS Enterprise D. It is freaking ginormous. It is absolutely ginormous. So you can see when they're comparing it, it's, you know, roughly the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza, bigger than the Colosseum. You guys see this? Look at this. It's absolutely freaking ginormous. One thing was saying it was like the size of the Paramount lot, but I don't know. It's about the size of the London Eye. That sounds too small. It's absolutely ginormous, though. The USS Enterprise D, because there's lots of Enterprises, is absolutely freaking ginormous. It's ridiculous. There's been lots of estimates. It can hold up to like 15,000 people or something. It's humongous. It's got 42 decks. Just absolutely huge. Although I read this funny thing that was saying, like, it's got, like, 42 decks, but most of everything takes place between just 4 of them. And they're, like, have a lot less people than they can fit on there, so it's kind of a ghost ship. Oh my goodness. What the heck is this? I don't think I meant to keep that open. So yeah, I had another thing. Shoot, I thought I had another. Oh well. So. Yeah, seriously, Argo, there's a lot of issues with the USS Enterprise D. It's just dry freaking enormous. So then, the Federation, the United Federation of Planets, the founding members of which were humans, Vulcans, that's Sarek, that's obviously Captain Kirk, the Andorians, the blue people, and the Tellarites, which are the piggish people. You can see they went real high-tech with the makeup back then. So they formed the United Federation of Planets, which many planets are part of. Klingons are not, but they have a treaty. And they have their prime directive, which is a policy of non-interference, but what it really is a BS excuse to let others suffer because they're less technologically advanced. Good example is that the Federation let the Cardassians commit genocide against the Bajorans for 50 years because they're not members of the Federation and they didn't have warp drive. So basically, if a society does not have warp drive, the Federation will not, like, help them out, basically. And it's BS. It gets broken a lot, but not nearly as often as it should. Let's go into some species. This is a cool thing I found. This is not all the species, but I liked it. So we got Andorian, Android, Bajoran, Betazoid, Boolean, Borg, Cardassian, Changeling. Anyway. These are some of the big ones. And then the Orions, yes. These are the spots. Oop, no. Okay, that's okay. Alright, so going over species. We've got Q, who they introduce in the very first episode of TNG, but he also shows up once in Deep Space Nine and 3 times in Voyager, and at least once a season in Next Generation, I believe. And he is basically he has god powers, basically. He's like omniscient, he's omnipotent, like he can do everything, and it's kind of weird. The weird thing about Q though is because like Star Trek is supposed to be so like scientifically based, but then it's got Q and it's, I don't know, it's weird. But yes, Q. All right. There's Vulcans. So, Vulcans. They are logical. They are known for their logic. They are non-violent. They have pointy ears and upwards pointing eyebrows. It's very important. So, Spock. Some people call them space elves. They got great haircuts for both their men and women. Very similar like this. Then there's Romulans. They're very cool. They are evil Vulcans. So they are related and evil. They also have their upward eyebrows. Although they also, in TOS, they are identical physically. But in DS9, in the Next Generation, they give them these V foreheads and non-pointy ears. But the main distinguishing things are that they're evil and they have shoulder pads. And that's how you tell a Vulcan from a Romulan. Vulcan from a Romulan. This lady shows up a lot, by the way. She's a reused actress many times over, especially in the Next Generation. I have a list, by the way. Yes, that's true, Blacklight, during their Ponfar. This is a Klingon, one of the baddest of them all. Baddest as in good, badass. He's lost his eye fighting the Jem'Hadar. Klingons are a warrior poet race. They are glorious. Export is a Romulan. Kapla! Or Klingon. Not. Oh my god, I just said I'm a Romulan. Klingon. Klingons are the best. They are warriors. They live for battle. But they also love opera and poetry and stories. They're the best. There's the Cardassians, not Kardashians. Understandable. I sometimes say that on accident. Yes, Martok and Gowron, wide eyes. These are the damn it, see, I just did it. Cardassians. This is Garrick, one of my top favorites. And this is, Gul Dukat, my favorite. So they have their necks. They're like lizardy people. And they have the spoon foreheads. The women have the spoon foreheads, but they're blue in the middle. I don't know what that's about, but that's the distinguishing feature of the women, is the blue spoons. Gul Dukat, this actor, Mark Alaimo, is actually the original Cardassian, and they partially designed Cardassians based off of him because he has like a long neck or whatever. We got the Bajorans. Bajorans had more nose features when they're first introduced with Leroy Laren. They pared it down a little for DS9. Just a little foldy nose. It's like you folded little creases in it. And they wear their earrings, which are very important. That, like their family... It's essentially their family crest, I guess. Blacklight. No, he's a simple tailor. And yes. And then here's a Trill. This is what I was cosplaying. Jadzia Dax is a Trill. Now you might think hot, right? But I want you to know there's a parasite in her stomach that somehow fits in there. There is a disgusting parasite. Well, it's technically not a parasite. It's a symbiont. It's true recipes. Still haven't finished my Gul Dukat song, my ode. So she's got a nasty looking thing that looks like a parasite, but actually is in a symbiotic relationship. It's horrifying. Then we got the Ferengi. The hilarious thing about the Ferengi is they become just a big joke, and their ears are their erogenous zone, which is an awful joke that they make. James, gross. Yeah, that's true. Glorified tapeworms that can never die. Yes, it's horrifying. Their ears are their erogenous zones, which is a frequent joke that they make, and it's gross. It's just not funny. It's like, oh, okay, it was funny maybe once. But the funny thing about the Ferengi is they were originally supposed to be the big bad guys of TNG. I think I have, let me see. I have an image of it that I want to show you guys. So this is the very first Ferengi episode. This is actually the Quark actor. I forgot his name. Armin Shimon. Yes. They introduced them in the episode called Last Outpost. They have these, light whips. These lightning electric whips. And they were supposed to be the big bad guys. And they introduced them, and they were just a freaking laughingstock. They're so ridiculous. It's such a ridiculous episode. And so, well, shit, now I lost my place. And so they got replaced, which we will talk about more. So, yeah. So they're just a big joke. And their big thing is their Yankee trader, human. All they care about is profit. They've got their rules of acquisition, which helps them to get profit. Recipes, I would say the Trills are basically Yerks from Animorphs. Then there's the Borg, who essentially replaced the Ferengi, the ridiculous Ferengi. Ferengi didn't work out. They were a joke. So the big bads ultimately became the Borg, who are actually genuinely terrifying. This is Hugh. And so, yeah, that's what they did there. Now let us review my favorite characters. Wait, where's my... Actually, no. First, we will review the captains. I have a lot of information here. So, an overview of the captains. So here is Captain Kirk. Hottie. He is from Iowa. He's American. He's from Iowa, although there's no America. I don't know if there's America on TOS. There's not in TNG for sure. His preferred drink is something alcoholic, such as Romulan ale or Saurian brandy. His interests / hobbies are alien women and doing them, rock climbing, horseback riding, antiques, and history and martial arts. Then we have Captain Picard, the greatest peacetime captain there is, the most peak Jean Roddenberry captain. He is French. He's from Le Bar, France. His drink of choice is tea, Earl Grey, hot, which I enjoy as well, but I don't know if he adds anything to it. I like a good London fog. Those are good. His interests are Shakespeare, archaeology, horseback riding, and he also later enjoys playing his Ressican flute. He and Janeway are the only ones to have, like, major catchphrases. His catchphrases include engage, make it so, and tea, Earl Grey, hot. This picture sucks. Let's go. It's really slow today. All right. Oh, jeez. Captain Sisko. He is from New Orleans. His drink of choice is Raktajino, which is Klingon coffee, which I've always imagined it to be similar to Turkish coffee, like strong coffee, heavily spiced. And then, but it's not actually established. His hobbies include baseball and cooking. He's pretty two-dimensional, but he is, without a doubt, the best wartime captain. That is who you would want. And Janeway, Catherine Bad Haircut Janeway. She never can find a good haircut. She is from Indiana. Her drink of choice is coffee, black. Her hobbies are science, knowing everything about everything for no express reason. She is exceptionally two-dimensional. She has no interests, really. And she is, her catchphrases are, do it, coffee, black, and set a course for home. Yeah, I agree. It was pretty when it was long, like, but she has her really bad. Let me show you guys how bad her hair was at the start. Let's see. Captain Janeway, season 1. She does like dogs, so that's points for her, though. Okay, look at this monstrosity. You guys see this shite? Ooh, this is a better picture. Yep, this is the one. Look at this freaking bun. It's awful. It's awful. Then later she has the short hair. Ooh, what's her first? There's the bun, there's the short hair. There's one other style, though. Yeah, look at this thing. God. There's one other style she has. The bun, the short hair. I'm missing one. I could swear she had a third hairstyle. When it's actually down and long, it is pretty. This is what she sleeps in for some reason. I swear there's one more hairstyle, but yeah, it's terrible. Okay. And her last catchphrase is, set a course for home. She is not Amish Beldens, no. I've heard that the original actress got replaced after like 3 days of filming, so she's actually not the original actress. That switched over. All right. Now, some of my favorite characters. Gul Dukat. He is, it says all your interests in one place. That's correct. Here's all my interests. Yes, that's right. I heard she, like, Blacklight, she couldn't keep up with, like, it was just too much to keep up with the shooting a TV series, I guess. You know, they had real quick turnaround. That's why they have errors like saying occipital lobe when they mean orbital, or what is it? What is they messed up? Yeah, she meant orbital implant, but she said occipital, which is completely different. Opposite parts of the face. Slash head. This is Gul Dukat. He is the GOAT. He's the best villain of all time. Especially if you just end his story with Sacrifice of Angels. After that, they ruin him. And I pretend it didn't happen. Mark Alaimo plays a lot of other roles. Like one-off roles. This is his only recurring role, but he plays a lot of other roles, like the very first Cardassian to be shown in TNG, which is not Gul Dukat, actually. He also is one of the first depictions of a Romulan in TNG. He plays just tons of random roles. Here's another one. So, Captain Picard and Data are also in my top 10, but you guys already know what they look like, right? Vermouth, I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't exist to me. I never did finish that series. I did not like it. This is Wei Yoon, who's played by Jeffrey Combs. He plays tons of roles, including Wei Yoon, who's one of my favorites. So where's my list of my top 10? Favorite. Exports favorite characters. Gul Dukat. Captain Picard. Worf. Wei Yoon. Garrick, who was pictured... Yeah, Garrick. 7 of 9. Right here. And the Doctor. And then finally... Data and his cat Spot. Yes. Agreed recipes. Okay. Now, we will discuss some of my favorite scripts, which are lines that I like to say all the time. One of them is, irrelevant! Another one of the greatest reused actors. Also, it's a fake! That's another one. Another one I like is, no one told you to do that, Ensign. Yes, I do glitchy twitchy. Another one is, illogical! 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 And the last one is, you're the bird, Data. Those are my faves. All right. Let us review some of my favorite quotes. That is not it. One of my favorite quotes from the episode Peak Performance. It is possible to make no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life. Yeah, there you go, James. James got it. That is Captain Picard's quote, one of the most famous, I would say, that I think one of the most well-known and most often picked as the best quotes. That's from Peak Performance, which is season 2 of The Next Generation. Another one that I really like, personally, from the episode called Family, which is... Ooh, is it the pilot of season 3? No, that's not right. Ooh, I'd have to think about that. And that is his brother, Robert Picard, says to him, this is after Captain Picard has been abducted by the Borg and stuff. This is going to be with you a long time, Jean-Luc. A long time. You have to learn to live with it. You have a simple choice now. Live with it below the sea with Lewis, or above the clouds with the Enterprise. And I love that one, because it's basically... recipes. Because it's basically him saying, like, you're trying to run away from the traumatic experience, but you can't do that. So you can run away and deal with it wherever you run away to, or you can stay where you love and deal with it there. And so I love that one. Now here's a really good one. Who said this earlier? Was it you, Recipes? This is a really good one from the episode Drumhead, which I skip sometimes because it stresses me out. With the first link, the chain is forged. The first speech censured, the first thought forbidden, the first freedom denied, chains us all irrevocably. So this, Captain Picard says this, but he's actually quoting someone else. I like that. It's actually really similar to that, I feel like it's similar to that one Martin Luther King Jr. quote. I'm going through my favorite quotes, Brave and Wolf. Doody. Here you go. Try to keep listening, though. And then, another one I like. This is one I really like. This is actually two people talking. He says, this is when they're dealing with, like, the war and the aftermath of the occupation. Oh, sorry, Blacklight. And he says, Bashir says, it's not your fault things are the way they are. And then the guy responds, everybody tells themselves that, and nothing ever changes. It's from an episode called Past Tense, which I want to say is season 1, but it might be season 2. Here's one of my... Oh, here's a good one. This is actually one of the few good Janeway quotes from Voyager. You can use logic to justify almost anything. That's its power and its flaw. It's pretty rare for her to say something that I like, so had to include that. Several are from... this is one of my favorites, too. Here, you can look at the pig people. This is one of my favorite ones. By Inferno's Light, Kira says this to the villain's daughter. She says, you know, because the villain's daughter, Zial, says, I always thought that even if he did a bad thing, he had a good reason. And Kira says, everyone has their reasons. That's what's so terrifying. People can find a way to justify any action, no matter how evil. That's one of my favorites. Let's see. There's another one, Martok. This is a good one. General Martok says this. When Garrick goes to fate his... Ooh, that's a good one, James. When he goes to face his fear of claustrophobia. He says, there is no greater enemy than one's own fears. Okay. I have more, but I don't know if I'm boring you guys. Do you want to hear more? I have 3 more. All right. Let's see. Now let's get into some of my hot takes. Hot take number 1. Oh, Braven, thanks for 5 months of Prime. All right, here's my hot take number 1. Sirach Lofton, who plays Jake Sisko, is the best actor in any Star Trek series. I think he is the best actor. He was just a kid, but he had the best performance even in the pilot episode. He's fantastic. Jake Sisko. Sirach Lofton, the GOAT. Ah, Glitchy Twitchy, I'm glad you came. He was the best. I love Galaxy Quest and Agent. That's a great show. I mean, movie. Sorry, my bad. I think that one's great because it comes from a place of love. Then, my other... Yes, Blacklight, that's hilarious you say that because that is my other hot takes. Inner Light sucks and I hate it. Fight me. I hate it. I hate Inner Light. It's an episode of The Next Generation that is widely regarded to be, like, the best. And I freaking hate that episode. Another important hot take is... Janeway is the worst captain and I freaking hate her. I despise her character. She's the worst captain. The whole premise of the series is that she chooses to violate the Prime Directive as her first day of captain of the ship and trap them. Oh, that's good. Oh my god, Akiyasu, I would pay so much for a mug that actually was like that. Recipes, I hate it because I think it's just like... I don't like how... I like that he gets his Resican flute, but I don't like that... I think it's really sick that those people did that to him. Like, they gaslight him into being like, no, you've always been here. Like, oh my god, you had a sickness that made you think you were on a spaceship, but you've actually always been here. And we're gonna, like, emotionally manipulate you. It's so gross. It just grosses me out and seems super unnecessary. Like, instead of that, why didn't they, like, download data? Like, you're telling me they didn't have some... Like, they had this advanced technology to create an entire lifetime in his brain of memories? But that's the only way. Like, they didn't have any other technology. It makes no sense. They had no other way of preserving their culture. Another hot take. Captain Jellicoe was right. Vindication for Captain Jellicoe. Riker was being a little biatch. He was totally right. They were in a very serious situation. Captain Jellicoe. He was right to ask Troy to wear her uniform, and the actress was glad. Like... Well, in that case, couldn't they have created, like, a holo program that was a little more optional? Yes, Captain Jellicoe was right. He was right. He totes... Fosh was right. Yeah, it's funny, Blacklight, because she told her to wear a real uniform, and, like, her character seems pissed off, but the actress was actually apparently, like, thrilled. She finally got to wear a real uniform and be taken seriously. And he was totally right. Riker was being a whiny bitch. Geordi was, like... Oh, you gotta be nice to us. Like, guys, potential war here? Like, we got shit to do. This is the hot take that I don't think many people agree with. I think maybe even some people here. They were right to unalive Tuvix. I don't see it as unaliving. He was never meant to exist. He was, the sum of his parts. Or he was, his whole was not greater than the sum of his parts. They needed the sum of his parts. Nation, yes. For a second I was confused, and then I was like, oh yeah, okay. Now, here are some of my plot hole complaints. Oh, I didn't go over best and worst episodes. Oh, I'm getting low on time. Shoot. Okay, we'll go on to my plot hole complaints. Would you guys rather hear about best and worst episodes or plot hole complaints? I think plot holes probably, right? Okay, we'll start with my... Alright, we'll start with my favorite episodes. We'll just go long here. Find something for you guys to look at. This son of a... There it is. This beauty. Okay, my favorite... best episodes. Where'd it go? Where's my listy? Okay, best episodes. It doesn't include any TOS because I'm not a TOS fan. I'm not against TOS like I'm against other ones. I just haven't watched it. Trilith, yeah, it's 40 years old. There'll be some spoilers. I'll try to keep them minimal. So, best episode of The Next Generation. I actually got an image of that one. Here it is. I would actually argue this might be one of the best Star Trek episodes of all time, period. So this is where this douchey Commander Maddox wants to come on and dismantle Data, who is an android. He's not a cyborg like Anike. He's fully android. He's fully, machine. He wants to dismantle Data in order to help him learn how to make more Datas. And Data's like, I took a look at your research, and I don't think you're quite ready, but I'm open to it in the future. So then the guys will, like, well, screw you, you're just a machine. Therefore, I'm gonna have you get ordered to be taken apart, and you can't, resign your commission. So then it goes to court with Philippa Beauvoir, I believe. Badass lady admiral, or is she an admiral? No, I can't remember. Captain. And so Picard argues for Data's personhood, and Riker is forced to argue against it. I would say it's one of the best episodes of Star Trek, period. And I think Gene Roddenberry, I would guess, really liked this episode. If he was alive at this point, which I think he was. Yeah, Blacklight's got it. Your Honor, Starfleet was founded to seek out new life. Well, there it sits. And then Philippa, when she makes her ruling, she's like, you know, but we're getting at, does Data have a soul? I don't know that he does. I don't know that I do. But I've got to give him the freedom to discover that for himself. I know I messed it up a little bit, but still. Okay, my other favorite episode of TNG, I love Lower Decks. Lower Decks. TNG. It's got this super hot, like, Tom Cruise-esque actor. Young Tom Cruise, to be clear. I hate it when people are like, Tom Cruise is a vampire. He hasn't aged a day. It's like, do you need an adjustment to your, glasses? Because he definitely has. Like, that's absurd. Aww. Ah, yeah. So he's super hot. They really should have kept him around. So this is an episode where they're examining the lives of these ensigns. It's really good. Makes me cry every time. Like, peak. It was so good. And this guy was really hot, and I was sad that he didn't stick around. Let's see. Okay. Best episodes of... Let me see, what else do I have? My favorite episode... Some of the best episodes of DS9. Sacrifice of Angels. I tried to be objective here with my best episode choices, so I did not include You Are Cordially Invited, because that might be just me. Okay, well, there's a big battle, okay? Check this out. Check this out. Ah, shit. Big battle. And this is the one with Gul Dukat, where Gul Dukat's character should have ended. We should never have seen Gul Dukat again after this. It was perfect. His character arc was freaking flawless. It was so good. And this is, I won't give a bunch of spoilers, but yeah, it's a really good episode, and many regard it as one of the best ones. Okay, Najin, I'm sorry. There's not a lot of actors on Star Trek that I think are hot, so, like, he's one of the only ones. So I felt like it was worth mentioning. Then we've got, oh my god, this one makes me cry my freaking eyes out. I actually skip it most of the time. Oh shit, that's not gonna work. DS9. Oh god, no, what is this? Oh god. Oh, I don't know why it's so slow. Oh my god, this freaking episode is so upsetting. So, the premise of the episode is... You think that Captain Sisko has gotten unalived, has died. And so you see Jake sadly going through his life without him, but then they find out he's able to come back at random times, and he's like stuck in what do you call it? Like, I can't think of the word. He's like frozen in time, sort of, and then come back. And so throughout Jake's life, he keeps coming back, and I won't spoiler, but it's the freaking saddest night ever. Yeah, let me bring up the next image, and then I'll do my steps. This is a really good one. It goes a little heavy-handed, but it's still really good. This is from Deep Space Nine. Duet. This one is just really... Anybody agree with me on this one? So this guy's a Cardassian. She's a Bajoran. His people occupied her planet for 50 years and did unspeakable things to them. So he comes on and basically... yeah, I know Tony Todd. Didn't they? Okay, recipes. I heard they did not include Tony Todd in the memorial in memoriam at the Emmys. Not cool. So basically, this guy is someone who did horrible things during the occupation. So Kira's like, I'm gonna destroy this guy. We're gonna tear him apart. And it ends up being like, I'm gonna cry talking about it. It's a really good episode. I think, did I cry before when we did the tier list? It's a really good episode. And one of the things I love about DS9 is it has several episodes where it's like, you do not see the end coming. You're like, oh, wow, I did not expect that. And it's really good. Okay, one more DS9 episode. Did anybody quote this one already? Okay, this is one of my favorites. It's a fake! Okay. So the episode centers around Sisko's doing a what the fudge? A log entry. Personal log entry. And he's talking through this experience, this dilemma he had. They're deep in the war with the... Oh, I forgot to talk about changelings. God damn it. They're deep in the lore of... Jack Tricks, mention that again at the end, because I have a tip for you, okay? Deep in the war with the changelings, with the Dominion. And so basically in this episode, he's like, I have to do something. So he does some messed up, I mean, morally questionable stuff. And it's an awesome episode because this episode is exactly why, if you were in war, you would definitely want Sisko, not Picard. Because Picard is going to, quote, wrestle with his conscience. He proves that. Sisko's going to be like, I will sacrifice my... He basically says, I will get my hands dirty. I will sacrifice my conscience to safeguard lives. And that's what he does. So I'm sure Admiral Nechayev was very proud of him. So that's a good one. Okay. Oh, got my steppies. Okay. Doodler. Best episodes of Voyager. These do exist. Okay, these are maybe more my opinion. Oh, counterpoint. Voyager. Okay, this is one of the ones I liked in Voyager because it also was like the DS9 ones where I was like, oh shit, I did not see that coming. And it's one of the few episodes. All of these are some of the few episodes where I actually like Janeway. And so this is this whole species that's coming on board and doing these inspections because they're coming after telepaths in the air. They hate telepaths. And so, this episode's very unpredictable, and gives me some respect for Janeway, which is saying something. Doo-dee-doo-doo. This episode, Year of Hell, the villain guy... Oh, they're not showing him here. Here he is, the villain. Anybody recognize this guy? Yo, it's him. It's Red from That 70s Show, which came out before I was born. Sorry. Oh, God. So this one is, the species, this guy who's using a time... Fudge, how do I describe this? He's, like, trying to manipulate time to undo something that he screwed up. And he erases things from ever having existed. And so it ends up in this like horrifying year of hell where Voyager's battling them. And it's pretty good. I think it's I want to say it's a two-parter. And this one has to be mentioned. I'm not going to tell you, Trilith. This is a great one because in this episode, they end up getting pulled back in time. And it's hilarious because then they're in the 90s in LA. And Tom Paris is an expert on all things 20th century. So he's like, well, this is how they dressed. And so they go into LA. Look at her cream-colored pantsuit. It's so funny. And Chakotay's hair, like all of it. It's hilarious. And this is in Los Angeles. And then last one. Now, this might surprise you. Son of a biatch. Come on. Oh, and it has Ed Begley Jr. as the bad guy. This one I love. This is the series finale. The only series finale I like. In Star Trek, I did not like TNGs, which I know is controversial. I did not like DS9s. It's the only series finale I like. The time I like Janeway best. Where future Janeway goes back in time to try to bring Voyager home. And she's an absolute badass in this episode. Mila Kunis? Oh, you're talking about that 70s show. I was like, what? She's in that episode? Yeah, that's a good one, James. So yes. Oh, yes, recipes. He was Nick Locarno, but they didn't want to pay royalties. So they made Tom Paris, who's totes different. I know, even old Janeway hates Janeway. I love old Janeway. She's a bad bitch. In a good way. That's a compliment. Okay, worst episodes. Nope. Alright, Sub Rosa. All you need to know is that Dr. Crusher has relations with a ghost who is green. Most regard this. I believe that this is the worst episode of Star Trek ever. Some believe that this is the worst episode of Star Trek ever. What are these lizards, you may wonder? Well, these lizards are the result of Tom Paris going past Warp 10. He exceeds Warp 10, which is supposed to be the threshold, and so it causes a speed up in his evolution, I believe, and turns him into a lizard. And I'm just gonna go ahead and spoil this one. He's a lizard. Janeway also becomes a lizard, which I don't remember why. Does she go past Warp 10? Anyway, she also becomes a lizard, and while they are lizards, they mate and have babies, and those babies are left behind on the planet, by the way, even though they must be the only of their species, right? Like, jumps the lizard. That's so good, James. So it's, I'm concerned for those babies, because, like, the ones they have are the only of their species, so sucks for them, I guess. Other worst episodes, The Thaw. I thought I had a picture of The Thaw. That's weird. It's an episode where Harry Kim is trapped. How do I describe this? He finds this species that are all trapped in, like, a stasis, and their minds are all linked to this thing where an evil clown is torturing them. I hate it. I hate it so much. And then any Deep Space Nine Mirror Universe episodes. Oh my god. I hate it. I hate it. I hate them. Mirror Universe is where everybody is kind of evil. Oh. And extremely sexual. They're gruff. And they're questionable morals. But they're super sexy. Like, look at this nonsense. You know me. This is how I like to lay around. Yeah, that's why I hate it, James. That clown is friggin' horrifying. I hate that episode. Okay. Last but not least, my plot hole issues. We'll start with some more minor ones. So here's one plot hole issue I don't like. This is Spot. Original Spot. brownish orange, long-haired cat, right? He's got a fluffy tail. His head's on the smaller side compared to his big body, right? Right? Najin, I've watched Battlestar Galactica, like the not the original one, but the later one. I think I watched at least three seasons. So here's Spot. He's a brownish orange cat, long-haired, and he is male. Wait a minute, no. This is Spot. He's an orange cat. An orange tabby. Wait, later on, he's an orange tabby and he's a she. So, that bugged me. Hold on a second. Okay, another plot hole that pisses me off. Okay, so here's a Borg cube. This is what the Borg cube looks like. You guys all know how I feel about the freaking Borg queen. I hate the Borg queen. I hate her. I hate her. She is not in TNG. I believe they introduce her in the movies and then they have her in Voyager. And I'm so against it because when they first introduced the Borg, they say, Troy tells Picard that every Borg is part of the same mind and that they have no distinct leader. And it is very clear when they are introduced in this episode, Q Who, that there is no Borg queen. They are like very explicit that this is how they work and there's no Borg queen. And then all of a sudden, there's been this Borg queen all along. They should have at least come up with a story for that. Najin, that's an interesting... Yeah, she actually is a lot like that. And so it pisses me off, because then they should have at least come up with an explanation like, oh, we used to not have a queen, but we got one so we could fight humanity better, or some BS. Ugh. J2, but... You're telling me they couldn't... I guess they probably would be hard to find another brown cat. That's fair. But the thing is, Spock gets replaced pretty early on. Okay, another issue I have. Let me show you the Ocampa. They are super lame. This lady was the original eye candy of Voyager. She's super lame and boring. And has a really bad wig. Okay, she's an Ocampa. They only live, like, absolute max of 10 years. So their species, like, ages very quickly. She's 1 year old here. Or maybe 2, because she turns 2. My issue with the Ocampa... So, we know they live an average of 7 to max of 10 years. And they only go through what is called their elogium once in their lifetime. Which is when they're able to mate. So only once are they ever able to mate in their lifetime, and when they do, they bear 1 offspring. So if every Ocampa woman bears only 1 offspring, how does their species even exist? How did it ever get off the ground? That makes no sense. And like, you gotta assume also some women maybe don't have an offspring for some reason, for one reason or another. So, for every 2 Ocampa, there's 1 more Ocampa. It doesn't make any sense, and it pisses me off. Another issue that I have... There's so many pictures up now, I'm lost. B'Elanna Torres. She's half human, half Klingon. No, they don't have any tech, J2. They are a techless society, basically. Little babies. Taken care of by the caretaker. She's half Klingon, half human. Her father was human, mother was Klingon. She states at least twice in the series that her father abandoned her when she was 5, and she never saw him again. But then, in one of my favorite Voyager episodes, because I have daddy issues, in season 7, they actually go through her backstory with her father, and it is restated that he abandons her when she is 12. There's a huge difference between 5 and 12. So that irritates me. Because why did you state it just to undo it? Not cool. Another issue is... I'm saving the best for last, you guys. Another issue is Worf's adoption. That bugs me. Because... God damn it. Worf. Okay, Worf's story makes no sense. So, he's in the battle of... Oh, fudge. Hold on. The Treaty of... My god. Kittimer. He's in Kittimer. He's there when Kittimer Accords. There we go. Kittimer is where his whole family, allegedly, is unalived by the Romulans. Starfleet officer finds him. Oh no, this poor baby. And then the Klingons are like, yeah, his family be dead. And so then they're just like, yeah, just go ahead and take him. And that's Worf's backstory, that he just gets picked up by a human from his home planet and taken back to the Alpha Quadrant. I'm sorry, what? That's whack. That's so messed up. You took him off of his home planet to a different, like, that's insane. You took him to a different solar system? Like, that's so messed up that they would do that. Like, it makes no sense to me that they didn't even have the Khitomer Accords at the time. So the Federation and the Klingons were not even allies. They were at war. So like, why in the world would they let one of their own kind get taken away? And then this poor guy has to be raised where he's the only one of his species on the entire planet and can't relate to anyone or have anyone relate to him. Yeah, no wonder Worf's got issues. Yeah, it's insane. And then there's this episode, can't think what it's called, where they basically encounter this human boy who's being raised by Talarians, I want to say? Ooh, no. Is that right? Anyway, and it turns out it's the same thing. The guy's like, yeah, when we were in a battle, we unalived his parents, and I found him, so then I took him on as my own son. And they're like, that is messed up, bro. You give us that human child back. You had no right. It's like, it's literally exactly what you did to Worf. So... no, J2, I think he would get adopted by friends of his family. The House of Moog was well regarded. Ah, thank you, James T. My bad. Thank you for the correction. I conflated those two, I guess. I conflated them. So, someone would have adopted him. Because his brother, Kern, who turns out to be alive, got taken in, so it doesn't make any sense that Worf wouldn't. He doesn't have any extended family. Like, come on. Another issue is the holosuites. Yes, thank you. Thank you, James. That is good information for me. So the holosuites, they look like this when you get on. Oh, well, the holo, in TNG, they're holo decks, which I'm like, what? Okay, so you get on, and it can create, basically, as long as you have, like, the parameters, it creates any fantasy world you want. So, like, Data likes to go and play as Sherlock Holmes, or Dr. Bashir and O'Brien do all kinds of fun things where he's, like, James Bond. They do, like, recreating old battles, like the Alamo. Super fun. Here's my issue with the holosuite. Society would collapse. The world would be destroyed by holosuite addiction. They have one character who's portrayed as being holosuite addicted. Everybody would be holosuite addicted. How would anyone ever get off? James T, it was not at the time that he was a child. That was 30 years later. How would anyone ever, like, people would be so addicted to the holodeck, right? Recipes, yeah, creates World War II. Yeah. Because, like, people would just play out their fantasies on there. So the guys who was addicted, Barclay is the character who's addicted to the holodeck, so he uses it to, like, get out all his aggression off of people he knows. He uses it to hook up with women on the ship he knows, which would definitely be illegal, by the way. So it's like, no, like, this would never work out because addiction would be so rampant. And, like, and I think theoretically the holodeck can create food that you can actually eat when you're on there. Because it's like a replicator in a way. And so, like, you wouldn't even have to leave it to eat. You'd just be like obsessed and never leave. And then, oh, thanks Trilla for 300 bits. Thank you so much. And then, let's see. Another issue is the fact that there's no money. Another plot hole is in the Federation there's no money. And I understand why that was Gene Roddenberry's ideal. But it makes me wonder, like, how does that work? Like, that's a good point, Recipes. It doesn't make sense because, like, for example, Captain Sisko's father is a chef and owns a restaurant. If there's no money, does he just do that for his own amusement? Like, maybe this is explained in the original series, Because it's like, so this guy just decides to have a restaurant where he goes and he cooks and he serves all these people and they don't pay him? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, none of it makes sense. And like, what about when you're on other planets? Do they just have a stipend that they spend on their shore leave? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how would the society, like, why would anyone have a job? Like, how does that work out? Wait, the loida is outdated. Ones can beam. Wait. Ah, yes. Sorry. So I don't know, James, tell me if there's a explanation for that. I understand, like, it's supposed to be like an ideal society. Yes, that's true. Ricard says we work to better ourselves. But again, why would you own a restaurant? That's a lot of work. That's a stressful job. So, like, if I was going to work to better myself, it wouldn't be by owning a restaurant. I would do all kinds of other things. What I would do, I would do a bunch of history stuff, or I would be a wildlife photojournalist. Although it wouldn't be as needed, I guess. Okay. My other issue is, in Season 1, one of the very early episodes, like within the first 5 episodes, they established that humans no longer enslave animals for eating. So that made me assume they were all like vegan / replicated meat, right? Like I figure, oh, they don't eat real meat, they just replicate it. But then there's like numerous times later where it's very clear that that's not the case. Like when Cisco is like shucking oysters. Is that what he's doing? Shucking oysters for his dad's restaurant. So it's like, how does that... Well, that seems like enslaving animals. Like, so I don't know. I feel like it's an ideal that they established and then don't follow through with, which bugs me. All right, now you guys, on to the most important thing that keeps me up at night. Are you ready for this? Let me close some windows. It's getting crazy. Ah, shit, I should have kept that one open. It was interesting. I want a poster of that. Ah, how do I bring a tab back, you guys? I forgot. What is it? Control, shit. No, I'm an idiot. Okay. Odo. Idiot. I knew I was gonna do that. Okay. So, Odo from Deep Space Nine. This is my biggest thing. Odo Deep Space Nine. He is a changeling. So when he is in his natural state, he is this gold liquid. Oh, shit. I had more pictures. Ah! No! Wait, where are my other pictures? What the fudge? I had more than one picture of Odo. What has happened here? Alright, here. This one. I could have sweared. Okay, so you see this liquid, this gold liquid all around? These are all his fellow changelings. So they're all liquid in their natural state, but they are able to form and look like a person. So, it's established. So, Odo was found as an infant, essentially, by Bajoran scientists who then studied him, and then he was a liquid at the time, and he learned how to become shapeshift. So here's my thing about Odo, though. He based his appearance off the Bajoran science who found him. Okay. But his natural state is liquid, so in order to create anything, he has to know what it looks like, right? So here's my question number 1. For the rest of his body, like not his basic shape in his face, did Odo just have this really uncomfortable day with the Bajoran scientists where he's like, so we're going to review what the rest of Anati looks like so that you can create that for yourself? Anybody? Anybody wondering about this? I just wonder, is Odo like a Ken doll down there? Like, you know what those look like? Then, yeah, they're like a puddle. Oh god, I don't even want to know Blacklight. And then, when he's with his people, they can do this thing called linking. And Odo enjoys it a little too much, if you get what I'm saying. It's pretty uncomfortable. So they link like this, and then they're just a puddle together, and he's like, oh yeah, love that puddle. And it's really gross. But then later, he has relations with Kira and another human woman. Which leaves me... Are you serious, Najin? Which leaves me with a question, which is like, if Odo is having relations with a humanoid woman, how does that work out? How does he even know what to expect? How does he even know? How does he even know what the woman has? Was that a day of class with Dr. Mora, the scientist? Like, did Dr. Mora review what he should do in such a situation? Was he like, bro, so this thing, I know it doesn't look great, but you gotta make it if you wanna do this with a lady. Like, is that what we're talking here? And then, like, I have so many questions, but I don't know how far I can go with my questions before YouTube cuts me off. But I just have a lot of questions about how that would work out for Odo and a woman. Because it seems like it would not work out super good. Seems like it would just be like... Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, recipes, but how uncomfortable would that be? Like, you're getting all hot and heavy, and then Odo is just a puddle, and then you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're done. And then Odo, like, also, like, how does he even know what to do? Well, excuse me, James. That seems like it would kind of take away from it. What does she do? Does she grab a pad and pull up a photo for him, show him a little video so he knows what he's supposed to do? Like, come on. Najin, it just keeps me up at night. Well, okay, Blacklight, I knew that. I knew after I'd said that, I was like, shit, someone's gonna say that. It's horrifying. I don't know. It just leaves me with a lot of questions about how he could prepare himself for such a situation. And it also leaves me with questions. I feel like it could work out really well for a woman, though, because Data can just... Or not Data. That's a great question, James. I mean, I guess it makes more sense with Data, though, because they could just, like, kind of upload that info. That's exactly what I was going to say, recipes. Is it... After the first time, I guess it would work out pretty well for the lady, because she can just... Odo would be the best for role-playing, or anything specific she wanted. Odo is her guy, right? Although I feel like it would be kind of awkward for Odo just being, like, a sentient... Can I say the D word? Nope, that's not the D word I meant. Damn it! It's too late. It's too late. Oh well. But yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about that. Anyway. To be clear, I am not attracted to Odo. That is he's not my type. If you're looking for my type, what the fudge? No. What the Oh, that's why. Alright. You're welcome to use him as an outline. There you go. Anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, let me do Derp Feathers request. You still here, Derp? Raise your hand, Derp. And then the Royal Hour preview after that. Alright. Well, hello. It's... Oh. Trying to remember the tune. I haven't heard this in so long and I didn't like it. It's been a long road getting from there to here. It's been a long time, but my time is finally near. And I can feel the change in the wind right now. Nothing's in my way, and they're not gonna hold me down no more. No, they're not gonna hold me down. Oh, Jack Tricks, thank you. Okay, so tip for watching Jack Tricks, if you go online, there are tons of people who have actually posted recommendations. So, like, for example, with DS9, they list the Season 1 episodes that you should watch, Season 2 episodes that you should watch, and then they're like, basically from 3 on, you're good. Because if you want to, like, Season 1 of all Star Trek series is rough. TNG, DS9, Voyager, all of them it's rough. And so they have a list basically like, okay, if you want to get into DS9, watch these Season 1 episodes, these Season 2 episodes, and then season 3, the rest you're good. And they have them for all the series. For the most part with TNG and Voyager, like, since it's more episodic, as long as you see the pilot, you should be good. But then with DS9, it's less episodic. Yeah, DS9, you gotta get through some bad episodes in season 1, but then it eventually gets really good. I don't know, I feel like the Enterprise theme song was going for, like, take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. And I like that better. I don't know, I prefer the TNG has the best song. DS9 has the worst song. I don't know why they did it so boring. Alright. Let us go to... Jack Tricks I don't, but I could easily make one. Royal Hour, that's what I was saying. Royal Hour. Sorry, Derp brother, I couldn't remember the tune. Derp, ask me tomorrow. I'll look up the song and then I'll do it again tomorrow. I only can think of the Firefly theme when I see that. So I literally, like, that's the only tune coming into my head. Alright, preview time. NPC Jail. A horrible, seemingly inescapable pit of unfulfilled potential. Much like the Four Beasts plot. Many characters find themselves trapped there. Some for months, some for years, and some for like a week and a half. Seriously, what the heck was that? Who was clamoring for Crust's release? Don't forget, Trony was only in there for like a month after getting introduced in Eleg's event, and then got her own event and showed up in the campaign. An actual campaign appearance? Trony, you must show me how you managed that! The kingdom has been out of the spotlight for far too long. I thought you were trying to keep a low profile. You know, after Mustang sent Cafe Sweetie to leave a severed horse head in your bed as a threat to get you to pay back your debts, but they couldn't find a horse, so instead they just filled your royal bedroom with horseflies. Joke's on them, those flies were delicious. Ahem, back on topic. NPC Jail is a source of much frustration, but it also leads to celebration. When long sought-after Nikkes finally escape, like Kay, whose kit ended up being total shite. Oh, well there's also Flora, whose kit is, once again, total shite. Wouldn't it be manure in her case? Well, they can't all be bad, can they? What about Nayuta? Oh, come on, Mommy number 7. We all know there's no such thing as a bad pilgrim rate unit. Overspec Mihara would beg to differ. Sheesh! Who would have thought an episode all about prison would be so depressing? Regardless, my investigative team is here to learn everything there is to know about NPC Jail. What's life inside like? Why are some characters trapped in there for so long? And most importantly, how does one escape? The kingdom investigates. Tonight! I'm Chime. I'm Marion. I'm Kilo. I'm Wells. I'm Trony. I'm Crown. That story tonight on the Royal Hour. Alright, so hopefully you guys like what you saw. Okuyasu, please don't ever refer to Papillon as Pap again. As a woman, I find that extremely triggering. Because that's the worst thing that anyone ever experiences. Anyway... yeah, hope you guys like that. Out after stream for tier 3. I was gonna say season 3 members. Tier 3 members. And, Friday, 11 a.m. premiere for everybody else. I'm just messing with Yokios. Yes, James. I'm just messing with Yokios. But I saw that and I was like, no. I was like that PTS dog meme. It's the worst. And, so I'm just teasing. So yeah, thanks for spending time to listen to me talk about Star Trek. There's a lot more where that came from. And hopefully you all are fans now. As I know you are. Majram.
A long time ago in the 90s was the GOAT of sci-fi series. And if you dare disagree, into space you'll be beamed with ships models built like cheap toys, and a French captain with a British voice. Though production quality was